Hi, thank you so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate it and I hope everyone is doing really well. If you didn't know, February 26th through March 4th is National Eating Disorder Awareness Week. And today I'm going to be talking about something that I mention quite often in a lot of my videos, and it's something called eating disorder mentality. It's basically the mindset that accompanies the physical behaviors of an eating disorder. And this can be applied to pretty much any eating disorder you can think of: anorexia, bulimia, orthorexia, binge eating, overeating, and anything in between, just eating disorders in general. So a lot of the time, eating disorders come about from innocent places, a desire to be healthy, a desire to be fit, really good intentions. However, our minds become obsessed and they start to twist the good and turn it into something quite ugly. I've come up with not a complete list, but as many characteristics of eating disorder mentality and a few behaviors that I could think of. Eating disorders stem from a subconscious or an underlying issue that we may be dealing with. And there are 4 underlying problems that we might not even know we have an issue with, and those are perfection, control, punishment, and acceptance. Perfection in the sense that we feel we need to look a certain way in order to fit some standard. Control, using food as a way to control our lives when we feel we are out of control in other aspects of our life. Punishment, because we feel we are not good enough and that by restricting or harming our bodies with food, overeating, undereating, binging, purging, anything like that, we feel like we deserve those acts. And acceptance, because we are searching for acceptance from other people. So the eating disorder mentality comes from one or more of these kind of underlying issues. So what is eating disorder mentality? The first thing that came to my mind, and is very common among people with eating disorders, is a need or desire to count calories or keep a food journal. A lot of people who suffer from an eating disorder feel like they have to look a certain way. If you base your happiness, your confidence, your self-worth off of how thin you can be, this is a mentality, a mindset that is attributed to eating disorders. When you become obsessed with weighing yourself daily, if not more than once a day, and always wanting the number to be less and less. It's never good enough. Even when you reach your goal weight, you still want it to be lower, and you just keep pushing yourself, and it becomes this nasty cycle and this obsession with small numbers, which also can be linked back to counting calories, because you might say, I'm going to eat X amount of food, and then slowly over time, X amount of food or X amount of calories becomes less and less, and you become obsessed with such small numbers. So the next couple of points are very big points. They are probably some of the hardest mindsets to break when you're recovering from an eating disorder, when you're trying to silence that eating disorder's voice. And the first one is food is evil. This sounds silly to some because I have mentioned it to friends in the past and they kind of laugh about it. Like, how can you think that way? Like, people with an eating disorder, and I can speak from personal experience, food is the enemy. Food is the devil. Food is evil. And it's so hard to break this idea when you are so convinced that food wants to hurt you. But you have to learn food is not the enemy. Food is not evil. It's here to help you, not harm you. Another one that I know from personal experience, and that is believing that there are good foods and bad foods. And of course, the bad foods need to be restricted or completely cut out, and over time, more and more foods gradually get added to the bad list. The next one is something that I was actually unaware of, like consciously unaware that I would do this, until one day I really just kind of sat down and thought about it and realized I was thinking this way. And it was whenever friends, even my boyfriend, would invite me to go do something, like invite me out with other friends, invite me out to like a restaurant, or even with family. And my first reaction was, how do I get out of this? I never realized that I was doing it, and I never realized that why I was doing it was because that was the eating disorder telling me I can't be around my friends. One, I can't eat around them, and two, they're gonna try and support me and try to get rid of the eating disorder because they know it makes me sick, and my eating disorder doesn't want that. So this is a mindset that you have to break. You gotta realize that if you are avoiding going out, social events, especially when food is involved, this is something you want to start to be a little bit more aware of. Feeling like you have to earn your food, using exercise as a way to earn your food, basically exercise a whole lot and then you've earned your food for the day, but if you eat anything more than what you earned, you have to work out even harder the next day. If you are afraid of eating and or overeating, this is another mindset. The eating disorder wants you to be afraid of food, and like I said before, food is not here to harm you, it's here to help you. When you feel like you have to starve yourself, when you feel like you have to binge, and when you feel like you have to purge afterwards, having those feelings of I have to, this is a huge red flag, a huge distortion of healthy mindset of the eating disorder. This is where you need to really start to be aware of whose thoughts are these. Am I thinking these thoughts, or is it the eating disorder? And I promise you, it is always the eating disorder, because our bodies are not here to hurt us. Our bodies are here to help us and protect us and get us through life. And the eating disorder is just another little roommate inside our head who needs to get the fuck out. And the last one that I could think of at this time was feelings of like lack of self-confidence, lack of self-worth, and feeling like we can only be confident, be happy, be worthy, be enough. Feeling we're not good enough unless we are slim, unless we are fit, unless we look like a runway model. These are total lies. This is a complete manipulation of a healthy mentality, and it's just BS all the way through. And if you should put your self-worth into what you do in life, what good you bring to the world, what change you bring to the earth. It's a great quote, and I'm going to be cliche, but be the change you wish to see. So if you want to see a healthy, happy world, be a healthy, happy person. And I'm very much about you reap what you sow. So what you put out, it comes back to you. So like I said, it's National Eating Disorder Awareness Week. Definitely stay positive. Eating disorders are not glamorous. They are not anything to be like, they're nothing special. They are a disorder, they are a disease, and people do need to be aware of it. A lot of people die. I believe eating disorders are the #1 mental disorder that kills. So, and there's a lot of other disorders, mental disorders and diseases that come along with eating disorders. So this is a serious subject, and I feel like it needs to be talked about a lot more. People need to learn not to be ashamed to speak out against them and not to be afraid to hurt anyone's feelings. Do what you can to bring change to the world. If you know someone who's struggling, be there. A little extra this week. If you're struggling, don't worry, you're not alone. Just keep fighting and stay strong. All right, well, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye.